having made our decorative cuts and then used the flush trim bit, and then I discovered you got to be very careful. You can see I cut out on the ends there because I had them outside to outside, not inside to inside like the other ones, and then the reference one didn't hit where it was supposed to, and I started biting the ends. So dry fit next to make sure that everything fits and it looks right, and then we're probably going to have to take it apart and do roundovers in the handles. And we can see that, well, on the side that I chewed out the corners of these guys, this doesn't quite line up. But on this side, this works pretty nicely. It runs into each other. On this side, on the inside, it's not running into it. But once I do roundovers on everything, and I'll do these top roundovers once I get it all together, that should line up better. However, for the handholds, these handholds feel pretty good. For these handholds, I'm probably going to want to take this apart and do the roundovers on the handholds separately. Otherwise, getting a roundover on the inside here is going to be almost impossible. We've got the roundover bit in the router table so that we can round over the insides and the outsides of these handholds before we glue up, and then we'll use the same roundover bit for the outside edges and then transfer it to the hand router for the inside edges. But when we put that in, notice we've got this shoulder sticking up here, and we're going to need to put that down so that it is flush. Now, flush with the tabletop. Now, instead of using the depth gauge, we're going to eyeball it and then do a test piece to make sure that it's the height that we want it to be. Now, on this router, because this is a different router table, this is a slightly different one than the other one. Instead of having a knob to twist here, you twist the whole thing in this holder, because this is a different router. So the unlocking mechanism is in the back, and then you twist the whole thing until you get it to the height that you want it to be at, and then you relock it. And then we can test cut this to make sure that we're not still too high up with that bit. So we've got our scrap here that we've used before, and actually let's take a look at this. No fence on this one because we're going to be going inside there and going back and forth once we do that. So no fence. All right, so this looks pretty good. I might be able to go a smidge higher, but we'll make this cut and see how this goes. All right, we've got a little bit of a round over here. We can get a little bit more, I think, by raising the bit just a little bit. Alright, that's a little bit better. I like that. Now, for doing it this way, without a fence, where you can come in behind, you can accidentally cut on a different edge and not just on the edge that you want to cut. So you need to pay attention to that. For the handholds, that doesn't matter because we're going all the way around anyway. We've got these guys, so we're going to want to have this set up. Nope, it's going to be touching. So we're going to need to be very careful about this, keeping the hands on the outside here, outside the danger zone, and we're going to go and push it on the front, going here, and we need to make sure that we're always moving it in the opposite direction from the rotation. First round over done. Got a little bit of a burn mark there. We can sand those guys off. And then we flip it over. We're going to do the other one also. Before popping the top on the glue, you're going to want to gather all the necessary implements for the glue up. So we've got the scrap paper underlay, we've got our setup in exploded form, we have our clamps, got our square, got our stick for spreading the glue, and we also have some clear packing tape to put on the bar clamps so that we don't accidentally glue our project to the clamps and notice how old they are. We've got some rust on there. Really what happens is the rust gets glued to the project when you break it off the clamps. So putting the clear packing tape on there helps protect against doing that. So we're going to spread some glue in the grooves and on the rabbets and glue it up and use the square to make sure everything stays square. And then we have two large squeeze clamps that are going to help with the cross clamping. So we've got the ends for the bars for the ends and the squeeze clamps for the cross. All right, we'll leave that clamped up for a while to let the glue set.